Welcome back to Speaking and Presenting in English with Professor Barry. This is our third week of classes, and today we'll be doing Unit 3 in your textbook, Speaking and Presenting in English. And today's topic is family. So, talking about members of your family and other distant relatives and introducing them to each other. So let's get started. However, before we move into our new topic, let's do a quick review of last unit's topic, which was time and days and dates. So we talked about days of the week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We also talked about the months of the year: January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. We talked about seasons, the 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. And we talked about holidays as well, especially some common holidays in Korea. So we talked about Christmas and Thanksgiving, Independence Day, and also Lunar New Year's Day, as well as New Year's Day. And we discussed ordinal numbers, those numbers you need to know when talking about the date. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, etc. And I gave you some hints about prepositions, how to use on with certain days. For example, on Monday, on Children's Day, or on my birthday, as well as specific dates on December 2nd, for example. And then we did in and how to use in with months. For example, my birthday is in January. Children's Day is in May. Christmas is in December. Okay, so we're going to use all of those things we learned last week. We're going to actually use those again this week when we introduce our family members. So keep those in mind, because you're going to need to tell me when your parents' birthdays are, for example, or when your brother and sister's birthdays are. All right, so let's get into vocabulary for Unit 3. Okay, so here is the important vocabulary for Unit 3. And if you look through the vocabulary here from your book, this is from page 24 in your book, you'll see you've got a lot of names of family members and other relatives. So we start with family tree, so that shows everyone in your family. And then we have here immediate family and extended family. Immediate family, those are the people that you live with. I would say nuclear family is also the same. So your parents, brother, sister, etc. Extended family is similar to relatives. So if you think about your grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins, those are part of your relatives or extended family. Then you've got some examples here: grandmother, grandfather, mother, father, parents. Only child. If you are the only child in your family, you are called an only child. My best friend is an only child. He has no brothers or sisters. It's his mom, his dad, and him. Just 3 people in his family. The next word is sibling, and sibling just means brother or sister. So if you have brothers or sisters, then you have siblings. In my case, I have 3 siblings. I have 2 brothers and 1 sister. Okay, next we're going to move into some of the extended family members. And in Korean, these can get complicated because in Korean, you have a specific name for example, your aunt on your mother's side and your aunt on your father's side. They have totally different names. In English, we don't do that. You just have your brother, your father's sister is your aunt, and your mother's sister is also your aunt. So you don't need to worry about which side of the family the person is on. So in that way, English is a little easier than Korean because you have fewer names to remember. So you have aunt, uncle, and then their children are your cousins. And then if you are married, you'll have a mother-in-law, father-in-law, sister-in-law, brother-in-law. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, we talked about being single or being married. Here we get a new one, 이혼한, which is divorced in English, divorced. We also have widow. If your husband or wife died, you are a widow if you're a woman. And if you're a man, you are called a widower if your wife died. Then stepmother, stepfather, stepdaughter, stepson in case of a divorce. And half sister, half brother. Half sister and half brother. At the bottom of this page, you have a few useful sentence patterns. So, for example, there are 3 people in my immediate family. How old is your mother or brother or grandmother? And the third one, my oldest brother is the strongest of my siblings, or my youngest brother is the smartest of my siblings. So these are all very useful words. You will need them when you do our third presentation, which will be about introducing your family. But before we do that, we're going to move on and talk a little bit about some common questions that you can use to ask about family, and I'll give you some example answers that for me. Okay, if you're following along in your book, and again, the pages you need for this unit, I've made scans of and put them in the files section of Canvas. So that'll be Unit 3. I did as I always do. You'll notice that there are only, I think, 3 pages this time. I cut out many of the pages in this unit because some of the things were a little too difficult and some were just not necessary. This here on the screen, conversation activity B, this discussion activity, this is one of the items I chose to keep. And it's a little bit fuzzy here, so I'll read it for you. If you look at number 1 there, it says, what are your parents' names? And over on the right hand of the screen, I typed my answer for that. So in my case, my dad's name is Ed, and my mom's name is Joellen. I know in Korea you don't use first names so often, and especially not to talk about your parents. So it might seem strange to say your parents' names out loud. And if that's the case, that's totally fine. But in the US, we use first names a lot, and it's very common. So that's why this question is here. So number 2, it says, what are the names of your brothers and sisters, and are they older or younger than you? So in my case, I have 3 siblings, and they are all younger than me. I am the oldest child. So my brother Shane is 39. He's 2 years younger than I am. And then I actually have a half brother and a half sister. My half brother Justin is 23, And my half-sister Amy is 21. They are both university students. Justin will graduate in May, and Amy has one more year. Okay, number 3. Are your grandparents still alive? If they are alive, where do they live? Okay, in my case, my grandma is still alive. Both of my grandfathers have passed away, and one of my grandmas have passed away, but my grandma on my mom's side, or my maternal grandma, is still alive, and I just saw her last month. She is 84 years old, and she lives in Wisconsin in the US, which is where I'm from. Number 4, tell me about your aunts and uncles. I have many aunts and uncles. On my dad's side, I have 3 aunts and 3 uncles. And on my mom's side, I have 2 aunts and 1 uncle. And because I have so many aunts and uncles, number 5 is a difficult question for me. It asks, how many cousins do you have? Well, to be honest, I don't know exactly. I have a lot of cousins. Definitely more than 20. I would guess between 20 and 30 cousins, but I don't know the number exactly. And finally, who is your favorite relative? This is a hard question. I would say, though, that my favorite relative is my brother Shane, because we have a lot in common, and he's my best friend. So that gives you some common questions that we ask about families, members, and relatives. And I give you my example sentences. And these will help you as you prepare for your presentation, which I will talk about in greater detail in the next slide. Okay, in this slide, it gives us a little guide and a practice activity to prepare our presentation. We're going to talk about our family. So first you need to figure out how many people are in your family. So you'll write number of family members. In my case, I'll do 5. And then you're going to write some notes about each family member. So who's the first person, second, third, fourth, fifth, if you have it. And think about some information like birthdays or hobbies. We'll include that. So we practice a little bit from Unit 1, which was talking about introducing someone and talking about your hobby, your name and hobby. And then a little bit from Unit 2, which was birthdays and days and months. And so we'll combine Units 1 and 2 into a little review when we do this presentation. So you can use this chart here to help you organize your notes for what you want to talk about for each family member. And this slide here just gives some examples about how many people are in the family and a little bit of information about each person. So for example, for the dad, we said the age and his job and his hobbies and his personality. This is just an example. You don't necessarily have to include exactly these same things, but it would be good if you could include age, job if you want. Birthday's not here, but I would like you to do that so we can practice Unit 2. Definitely do hobbies and how you feel about your family. So for example, I love my family. And then at the bottom here, you've got more useful expressions. These are in this presentation script in the middle. So I'd like to tell you about my family. There are however many people in my family. And then as for his personality or as for her hobby, she's good at, great at, into, last is blah blah, and a big fan of blah blah. So I will try to use all of this language when I give you my sample presentation, which will start on the next slide. I'd like to tell you about my family. There are 5 people in my family, or actually 4 people and 1 animal in my family. This is my wife. Her first name is Nare, and she is really good at cooking. And you can see here she prepared a lunchbox for my son's field trip. She is 40 years old, and her birthday is in November. Her birthday is on November 16th. I also have a son. My son's name is Noah. He is 7 years old. He has 3 big hobbies. He likes to cook. He's also really good at playing air hockey. And he's really into Legos. Noah's birthday is in April. It's coming soon. His birthday is on April 18th. I also have a daughter. Her name is Gia. Gia is 4 years old. Her birthday is also in April. Her birthday is on April 7th, which is Tuesday. So her birthday is coming soon, which means I need to buy a birthday present soon for her. As you can see in the pictures, she loves ballet. She's also really into travel and eating ice cream. That picture is in Chicago. She's enjoying some ice cream. And finally, she's also a big fan of driving. She loves to drive. Okay, and last but not least, we have me and our family pet, Puka. Puka is about 7 years old. His birthday is in June. I can't remember exactly the date, but I know it's in June. And his hobbies are sleeping, which isn't really a hobby, but for a dog, it's okay. And eating, he loves to sleep and eat. He sleeps and eats all day long. And finally, that's me. My name is Barry. My birthday is in January. It's January 11th. And for hobbies, I think I told you already, but I love to read and I also enjoy traveling. And actually, making PowerPoints is becoming a hobby. This is kind of fun, actually. So, there you have it. That is my family. I love my family and I'm happy to introduce my family to you. Okay, so that brings me to the end of today's lecture. Here are your next steps. As always, after you watch this video, please leave a short comment below. Again, this is your attendance for the lecture. Then read Unit 3 in your textbook, there are only 3 or 4 pages there. That is in the files section of Canvas under Unit 3. You'll find those there. Those are also included in this PowerPoint, though, if you want to just read it there. Finally, write a short presentation about your family. Use pages 29 and 30 in your textbook and my slides, 7 to 11, to help you. Film your presentation again and send it to me through Kakao Talk. If you want, you can do a video of yourself talking, or you can do a PPT like mine and talk over the PowerPoint like I did. It's your choice how you want to do it. But whatever you do, I look forward to getting your presentations and learning more about your family. So until next time, bye-bye.